What's going on, everybody? So the game just ended, Florida versus Georgia. Listen, I'm not going to bash Billy Napier like I usually do. The team fault, man. I made a YouTube short. I said, I just don't want the Florida Gators to embarrass me and make it competitive. They did that. The score was 34-20. Georgia takes it, 14-point victory. Congrats to them. Carson Beck, he was awful. He was the Florida Gators' best player there for a while. 3 interceptions, and, Florida capitalized, especially DJ Lagway. Deep ball to Aiden Mizell, which was a beautiful ball to give the Florida Gators a lead 7-3. Unfortunately, in the second quarter, DJ Lagway does go down with an apparent hamstring injury. It sounds like it's pretty significant. So we'll have to check, see how long he's going to be out for. Could be a couple of weeks. We'll have to see. Aiden Warner came in. Played okay for a freshman from Yale. And, he played I'm just going to say okay. He got thrust in it. He's a third-string quarterback. You can't really expect a whole lot. There were some nice throws. There were some throws that's like, inexperience. So, Florida, I thought, ran the ball very well, especially with Jacoby Jackson, 12 carries, 74 yards. The one touchdown that really tied it up, that put a little pressure on Georgia, make it 20-20. But throughout the game, man, there were some plays that's like, the special teams mishap, the snapper, the holder, it just went right past. It was a bad snap. It just is what it is. I always thought, I was like, the special teams is going to come back to where it's bad, okay? That really is not really a special teams. That's just a snapper. It's just a bad snap. That happens. What was it? The third down pass that Carson Beck threw to Arius Smith, it was really a backbreaker. Cormani McLean got put in got put on the spin cycle. Former 5-star player, got burnt and gave up a big play. Georgia able to capitalize. So, there were some plays that was like, man, if it could just, the ball bounces the right way for Florida, because the field goal would have been a 50-yard field goal for Trace Mack. When the snapper messed up, you got to look, that's a 10-point swing. Trace Mack is capable of making a 50-yard field goal. He's made one earlier in the game. And what does Georgia do right after that? They score, So that was a 10-point swing. So there was games, even after DJ Lagway exited, this game was still competitive. Carson Beck, made it very competitive throughout the game because, man, I don't see how people list him as a first-round quarterback. I think that's out the window. Now, Florida defensively was doing some things that was pretty good. Okay, they gave up a couple of plays. They gave up a couple of huge plays. But pressure, they were getting after Carson Beck. They did what they needed to do to give them a chance to win. Okay, offensively, injuries suck. Okay, I put that in my thumbnail. Injuries suck. On the offensive side, on the defensive side, throughout this game, Florida, they were just going down left and right in the secondary, on the offensive line, quarterback. So, how long is DJ Lagway going to be out? We'll have to see. You have to assume it's at least next week, when Florida takes on Texas. That's going to be a huge game in Texas. If Aiden Warner's under center, I don't really like the Florida Gator chances, but I will say this performance tonight encourages me that I don't think Florida's going to lay down. They didn't lay down when DJ Lagway, their leader, the quarterback of their team, who was playing really well. He was only 2 of 6, but he played well. He made plays with his legs. And, that could have been deflating to a team. They could have gave up, but they didn't. So, they rallied around Aiden Warner. And, maybe we'll see. You never know. And this was a rivalry game, so these guys were going to show up and show out in a rivalry game. But, it just, you have to look at it. If DJ Lagway stays in, would it be a different outcome? I think we all know it would. It was a close game throughout. It's 34-20. The score it was even closer than that throughout the game. It just, Georgia put up a touchdown at the end after Aiden Warner interception. But, Trevor Etienne on the Georgia side, you thought maybe he was going to go off. He actually exited with a rib injury, never came back. He went in at about halftime, right before halftime, never came back in the second half. He only had 31 yards on the ground. But Nate Frazier ran the ball very well for Georgia. He was tough. True freshman, I believe. I know he's a freshman. 19 carries for 82 yards. Yeah, he's a true freshman because he was the number 4 running back in the 2024 class. So, he ran the ball very well, but I thought, Florida's rushing attack did very well, especially with Jacoby Jackson. I thought he did very well. So, but Florida came to fight throughout the game, even when all the chips were down. And, I think he got a little respect from Kirby Smart and that Georgia fan base, because it was like, man, these guys won't go away. They were not. So, I'm not here to ridicule Billy Napier in this video. Usually I do, but his players fought for him. I will say that. And, those players, man, young guys too. These are, true freshmen, Jaden Ball, and you got a lot of freshmen. You got a lot of young guys playing, Aiden Mizell in his second year, 4 catches, 66 yards and a touchdown. That long ball, that 43-yard touchdown reception that DJ Lagway put on him. Perfect. Georgia's secondary was without 2 starters to start the game. So I was hoping Florida really could, benefit from that. And they did, especially with that long ball that DJ Lagway threw. Man, he throws one of the most beautiful throws that you'll see in college football. Just how he throws the deep ball that he throws. But Elijah Badger, really in the passing game, there wasn't much. There was only 9 receptions for 113 yards total. So there wasn't much passing. Georgia in the second half really did a great job, especially with Aiden Warner under center for Florida, just making life miserable for Warner. But you never saw him panic. And that was and that's what I saw. I was like, man, I said, this guy, listen, you thought the moment could be too big for him. But, rivalry game, Florida, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida. And, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't scared. You can see it in his eyes. And at least what I saw was that he wasn't scared. So, Carson Beck, man, I'm telling you, throughout the game, you can see in his eyes, he was getting afraid, man. That Florida front, that Florida pressure and everything was getting to him. He was starting to see ghosts. 3 interceptions. And 2 of them were really bad. So, the fight for Florida encourages me to hey, listen, I'm not going to say they're going to win out or they're going to win more than 2 games. I feel like they could probably still win one at the end of the year against Florida State, because Florida State's just bad. They lost to North Carolina again tonight. They only have 1 win, but it is a rivalry game. But, Florida is still going to be a team. It's going to be like they're just gnats in Florida, in July. And it's just that hot day when they're still all around you. You're trying to swat them around. That's going to be the Florida Gators. It's not going to be an easy win for you. Even though Texas is coming up, they're a top 5 team or a top 10 team in the country. Florida's still going to give them a battle. But I'm proud of the Florida Gators. I can still say, this is one of the videos that I'm like, listen, I don't believe in moral victories. I don't really get down with that. But, man, you know what? I love the fight that I saw, especially after your leader and your, DJ Lagway goes down. There was no quit in this team. So I can say great job. And that goes with coaching. That really does. Your team didn't get down on itself. So that's one thing Billy Napier, I can actually applaud him for. His team still fought for him. But, we could talk about other things another day. But you know what? Florida, Georgia is always fun. You get the Georgia rivalry. But, man, injuries suck. You can only think, what if DJ Lagway didn't get hurt? What would be the outcome? What was that? I guess we'll never know. But, hey, guys, as always, I appreciate y'all watching this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.